What is going on, guys? I'm your Lesser of This Week in MLS, and welcome to episode 2 of the This Week in MLS show. Join with me today. Later will be Kamal Miller of Club de Foot. But for right now, we got the man, the myth, the legend, DannyTRadio, one of the best content creators out there in terms of MLS. Danny, how are you doing today?
I'm doing better now after that intro, man. For that, I appreciate that. I'm doing good. Just got back from the park. I'm actually recording this from my five-year-old stepson's bedroom. You can see some of the artwork there in the background. So, but yeah, I'm good to go. I'm ready to talk some MLS.
Yeah, and just a little heads up for you guys out there, we are experiencing a bit of a lag issue, so if you see some random cuts, just know it's due to that. But anyways, in today's show, we're going to be doing some pass or shoot, taking some of the hottest takes from you guys, and we're going to tell you whether we agree or disagree. But first, we're going to start with a couple debate topics. I saw this one on DannyTRadio's Twitter today. So Daryl Dike, he's been killing it at Barnsley in the championship right now. They're undefeated since he's joined. He has 3 goals now. However, should Orlando City SC bring him back or let him walk and sell him for a big price? Danny, you answer this one first.
That's tough. It really depends on the number that they're getting. I haven't really heard too much yet, but I mean, his stock right now has to be at an all-time high. He's performing in the championship, which, I mean, me personally, I don't think MLS is that far off from the championship. Yes, I do rate it higher than MLS, but I think it's closer than, what some people. However, the main perception of most people is that championship is way above MLS. So I can tell you this much: him performing this well here is doing more than him performing well at Orlando City. So if he goes back to Orlando City, it doesn't matter what numbers he puts up. I don't know if his stock is going to be as high as what it is right now. So I think Orlando have to seriously consider at least entertaining offers.
Well, I do agree that his stock will be at the all-time high at Barnsley, especially with how he's playing. The selfish MLS fan in me is like, bring him back, let him become a star in MLS, then sell him and throw him back into the wild. And I got to watch him play in college. I saw him live in college, and that was the most exciting thing. I knew that this man was legit since day one, and I just want to see him maybe lift up a trophy in Orlando. I am by no means an Orlando fan, despite me wearing this jersey right now. Totally unrelated. But I'd like to see him come back for a little bit more, just because I didn't think we saw enough of him yet in the league. But let's get into our next topic. So I dropped a video about the Blaise Matuidi situation, so we're not going to talk about that situation. But it does bring up a question. Should MLS teams expand to having 4 designated player spots, or should they stay at 3? Danny, you take this one.
I'm going to say no. I like the 3 DP rule as it is right now. I think rules right now are a little too convoluted, what with targeted allocation money, general allocated money, DPs. There's too much. I agree with that. However, I do like that there's a salary cap in place. Do I think that number could be pushed higher? Yeah, but I don't want this to get too extreme. I think if it goes to 4 DPs, pretty soon it can go to 5 DPs and beyond that. I like that it's 3 DPs. It makes it more challenging for this league. Does it hold the league back a little bit? Well, yeah, maybe, but MLS isn't ever going to be the EPL. We shouldn't try to be them. We should try to be we can in the region, but also we have to be able to stand out from the other leagues. And I think the DP rules right now standing at 3 is the right.
Yeah, well, I do think you hit it right on the head with that one. I will say this. I think if the league does want to expand to 4 DPs, what they should do is have the 3 normal DPs and have the 4th DP spot be specifically for a young DP. We've noticed over the past couple years, a lot of MLS teams add young designated players within the 3, and it counts as one of those 3s. But if you add a 4th one, I think the 4th has to be a young designated player. Awesome. All right, so now we are going to head into Pass or Shoot. Today on my Instagram, I asked the followers, send me your hottest takes, and I'll take some of the best ones and put them in the show, and I will make sure to credit all of you guys. Do not worry, your ats are there. And the first one, believe it or not, comes from the Eli Lesser meme page. NYCFC will miss the playoffs in 2021. Pass or shoot? Danny, you start.
Hold on, you got your own meme page now? I gotta add you or something because I haven't seen this yet.
No, it is all good.
Tough one. Because I was just trying to figure this out before, actually with Chicago, but inserting NYCFC. I don't think they're right now better than where they were at the end of last season. I think is down a little bit until they start, buying some new players. But if we just look at the Eastern Conference, me and you are both high on Atlanta. We think they're going to be back. Okay, so that's one. Columbus, Philadelphia, Toronto. That's 4. New England, I'm super high on. That's 5. Orlando is 6. I'm not going to rule out FC Cincinnati. I think they've had a great offseason. Nashville's still in it. Miami's kind of a mess, with everything that's going on with the lawsuit and the Blaise Matuidi thing, but they still have a good enough roster. I think they're good enough right now to make the playoffs, but I'm not super high on them. I'll say they sneak in at the 7 seed.
I'm going to shoot this one. I actually agree that NYCFC, where they stand right now, is not a playoff team whatsoever. And I think this is the worst they've looked roster-wise since their inaugural season in 2015. I actually think the Red Bulls have a much higher chance of making the playoffs as is right now. They got a young and fun roster. Sure, they don't have the class talent quite there yet, but they could be developing into that. So I'm going to actually shoot this one and agree that NYC will not make the playoffs. Let's get into our next one. Staying with the same type of question here, pass or shoot? The Quakes are a contender in the West. This is from James Berryman.
Quakes are a contender in the West. I'm going to pass on this. I think there's putting them on the same level as LAFC or Seattle right now. And Wondolowski is, I'm thrilled that Wando's coming back. I really am. But he's a year older. And how much magic does he have left in him? Houstons is now gone. The Matias Almeida, there's been rumors about him leaving and he hasn't yet. But that's got to be a little bit of a distraction in that locker room. They might have the best new jerseys this season, but I'm definitely passing on them being a contender in the Western Conference this year.
Yeah, and I always roast the San Jose Earthquakes. The LA boy inside me always wants to see them lose and whatnot. But you know what? If you consider a contender being just making the playoffs, because honestly in MLS, just making the playoffs is enough to potentially win the MLS Cup, then maybe I will shoot this one. I think this team has slightly improved from last season. They kind of just missed out on the playoffs. They did make the playoffs actually, just barely. So I think they are still a playoff team. I think a lot of teams in the West have kind of gotten weaker to the point where they could slide in. As long as Wando still has his legs, there's a chance. And I cannot believe I am complimenting the San Jose Earthquakes right now.
I can't either.
But let's get into our last one. Speaking of LA, this is the hottest take that I saw out of the follower responses. Pass or shoot? Carlos Vela will retire as the MLS GOAT. This is from LAFC Memes.
No, I'm passing on this one. He's had maybe the greatest. No, not maybe. He has had the single greatest season in MLS history. I'll give him that much. But how old is he now? Is he 31, 32? He just doesn't have enough time. He's not going to pass Donovan he's not going to pass Lowski on the all-time goals list. He's not going to pass Donovan on the all-time assist list. And until LAFC win an MLS Cup, which they haven't been able to do, no, he's not qualified yet to be in that conversation for MLS GOAT. If he retires here, he's going to have that status of being one of the all-time greats, but I don't even think he's going to retire here. I think eventually he's going to move off. So I love Carlos Vela. No, I'm passing on this one hard.
I will 100% agree with you. I am passing as well. And if you saw my tier list video the other day, I actually put Carlos Vela as an A tier signing, not an S tier signing, because based on my rankings, to be S tier, you have to have won an MLS Cup. And that is the one thing that LAFC has historically not been able to do. They've been playoff chokers. It is what it is. And you're right. He doesn't have enough time to catch up to a Donovan or a Wondolowski. If he does, holy crap, like, whoa there. He absolutely is, if he's going to do it in such little time. And also just in general, I hate to be that like purist guy because that's so unlike me, but like I can never imagine the MLS GOAT not being an American player. And I'm not saying like, oh, screw Mexico. I'm just saying in general, just I feel like.
Well, what about Joseph Martinez? I mean, Joseph Martinez loves it here. And I think it's more likely that Carlos Vela leaves than Joseph Martinez leaves. Martinez wants to be in Atlanta, and we'll see how he is after this injury. But if he gets on, somewhat of the rate that he was before, I mean, he's going to hit 100, 150 goals in just a couple years. So if anyone from the current group of MLS players is going to be the GOAT, I think it's going to go down as Joseph Martinez.
I actually will agree with that, and I even forgot about Joseph for a minute, even though we've been talking about how great Atlanta's going to be again. He's 27. He's still got a few years, and the goal-scoring rate he was on is MLS GOAT worthy if he could get to that point. I think he might be the all-time MLS goal scorer when it's said or done. But at the same time, if he doesn't have 6 MLS Cups like LD, I still put Donovan ahead of him. All right, let's finish off our show with the meme of the week. I don't know if you have it pulled up on your phone, but this week's meme is McKennie caught looking. Weston McKennie was caught checking out a reporter a couple weeks ago, and it's become a viral sensation, really. And this one was sent in by the MLS Gone Wild podcast. This will be displayed on your screen. It is Weston McKennie as the USMNT caught looking at Yunus Musah. And I can relate to this one as all USMNT fans are obsessing over Yunus Musah and the prospect of him joining the USMNT over England. However, England is very confident that he'll join them instead. What do you make of this meme and just the Yunus Musah situation in general, Danny?
Well, on both ends, I've been on Weston McKennie's end, checking out that. Also, yeah, I mean, from the U.S. men's national team's perspective. Because this is a guy that I really did not pay that much attention to, before the last couple months. And he just exploded. He's had great appearances with the national team. And the fact that it's still kind of between him and England and Ghana still wants him too. U.S. Greg Berhalter, He's got to be giving him a lot of gifts because we need him here on the national team. He'd be a great get.
Welcome back to the This Week in MLS show. Today I am joined by a very special guest, Syracuse legend, Canadian international defender, Kamal Miller. Kamal, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing very well, Eli. How you doing?
I've been better, but I've been worse. No complaints. Just love being here in Syracuse. And I'd like to get us started by asking you a little bit about your time at Syracuse. Why did you choose the college path to pro?
For me, it was more of a security and longevity thing. Education was huge for my parents. So once the college offers started coming in, that seemed like the best path for my whole family. They knew that if soccer did not work out in the end, I would still have my degree to fall back on, and it would just be the best setup for life. Pretend
Coach Mack and Sean Lawler are not listening to this. It's a Friday night at Q's. What are you doing?
We had such a close team all 4 of my years at Syracuse. We were definitely always together, whether that would be just on South Campus hanging out or main campus trying to catch any athletic games we can. We went to a lot of different sports as a team and kind of turned it into our own event, if that makes sense. So I remember times where we would go to volleyball games and there wouldn't be too many people there, but in comes the men's soccer team and we would have the whole gym rocking. So just memories like that and the nightlife, like you said, is definitely something that we took a lot of. After Friday night game, big ACC win, we were always together and enjoying having a few drinks, stuff like that.
Yeah, just letting you know, unfortunately, DJ's on the Hill is closed forever. because of the pandemic. On to now like the more professional soccer stuff. So in Orlando, really, you came into the league kind of as a center back. They played you out wide. What do you think is your best position going forward?
I think versatility has allowed me to have a lot of success at this professional level. I've played left back for Orlando. I've played left center back in a back three for Orlando. I've played left back for the national team. I've played left center back in a 4 for the national team. So I'm comfortable pretty much anywhere along the back line. I've had the most reps and games as a left center back in a back 3, especially throughout my years at Syracuse and in the early days of my rookie year in Orlando. We were playing with that system. So I think I would say that that's my favorite position.
Would you credit that versatility as to why you were so quick to get acclimated to Major League Soccer? You know, being a second-round draft pick is usually a big hill to climb, but you seem to climb it very instantly.
Yeah, I think that versatility definitely helps, being able to play fullback and understand what the center back needs from me, as I played a lot of center back myself, or playing center back and being able to understand exactly what the fullback needs from me. So overall, it was never too much of a transition. It all felt pretty natural, whatever position I was in. So I'm definitely blessed to have that versatility for sure.
Another player that quickly came from the super draft and acclimated himself into MLS is Daryl Dike, who was one of the favorites for Young Player of the Year last year. He's now on loan at Barnsley, and you played with him. And I just want to ask you, is Daryl Dike the real deal?
Yeah, Daryl, I would definitely say is the real deal. He has a good understanding of what it takes and what is required of him to stay at a high level. He's definitely a very good listener. I've never seen him, and off the field, he's such a likable person. So that translates to on the field as well. I'm sure you've seen clips of him smiling probably 90% of the game. He's always in a good mood, and I think that helps with his goal scoring ability as well.
Awesome. So you had a very busy off season, to say the least. It started with you getting taken in the expansion draft to Austin FC, but then being traded to what was the Montreal Impact, now Club de Foot. How do you feel about going back home to Canada, playing for a team in Montreal?
Oh, it's a dream come true. Growing up, I've always seen the restraints on the game of soccer here in Canada and the struggles that a lot of the young players face trying to make it out of Canada. So me being back home, being able to promote and push the pro game and show a lot of kids that are walking the same paths and in the same locker rooms that I was in while I was growing up, is special, just to show them that this is possible. And yeah, the game in Canada is growing day by day, year by year. So yeah, it's special.
No, absolutely. And you know what? I want to ask you another question about being sort of a left back. Obviously, the Canada national team has Alfonso Davis. Is there anything that you could take from his game to help you with yours to become a better left back as well?
I would say when I play left back, I'm a defender first, and he's the total opposite. He's an attacker. Winger playing left back. So I think we can both help each other with our games. There's times in camp where he's asked me questions about defensive positioning and how to stay ahead of your center backs and never drop behind the center backs and keep the line straight. And there's definitely things that he's helped me with, crossing and timing of runs, and just being more comfortable in the attacking third and building from the back as a left back. He's helped me with as well. So I think we both help each other and provide two very different options for the national team, which is good.
Yeah, so speaking more on Alfonso Davis, he's obviously on Bayern Munich, and I know you're a big FIFA guy. I just want to know, is Bayern Munich your go-to FIFA club, or do you have a different go-to FIFA club?
100%. Anything to do with FIFA, everybody knows I'm always Bayern. I've been a Bayern fan since 2008. I believe that's when Arjen Robben made the transfer to Bayern in real life. That was one of my favorite players growing up. So ever since he made that transfer, I've been with Bayern full strength since that day. So yeah.
I am not even lying to you. Robben is actually one of the reasons why I'm a big soccer fan as well. In the 2010 World Cup, the Netherlands, I just sort of started rooting for them because of him. And him and Ribery were my favorite duo for years in all of soccer. Staying with the FIFA questions, do you ever play with yourself in FIFA?
To be honest, no, I never have. There would be a couple of times where I'm playing against another good player. Maybe it's one of my friends and he's over at my apartment or something like that, and we would use MLS clubs just to try to make it a bit tougher, and I would always go with the team I'm playing for. But that has happened very few times, so I haven't played with myself too much.
Well, personally, I think you deserve to be a 99 overall. I think EA is absolutely sleeping on that. But speaking on like playing your friends, which teammate of yours do you destroy every time you play each other in FIFA?
My rookie year in Orlando, they were all playing FIFA early on, probably our first week of preseason. I just hear shouting from one of the villas across at IMG, and I go over there and everybody's playing FIFA, and I literally played one game. I think it was Christian Higuita who I played, and at the time he was one of the better players on the team. And I think I beat him 4-0, and since then, nervous to play me. So I only really played against Benji, who also is a pretty decent FIFA player, and we've gone back and forth quite a bit. So
who would you say has your number in FIFA?
One of my good friends, Dane St. Clair from Minnesota. We played probably over 1,000 FIFA games, whether it's together on the same team in pro clubs or ultimate team, or even just against each other at tournaments growing up and stuff like that. So I would say he knows me the best and has definitely given me the most L's. I'm definitely up in the series for sure.
Okay, for sure. So let's go on to another video game you told me you play. You play Warzone, and I gotta know, do you clutch up in the gulag?
I would say my success rate in the gulag is pretty good. It all depends on the gun. There's just some guns that you get that I know from the start I definitely cannot win with that gun. But for the most part, I'd say I get out of there pretty often.
Who's your squad in Warzone?
Interesting. While I was in Orlando, my squad pretty much throughout the bubble was Benji, Chris Mueller, and I would say mainly us three. We played a lot of trios, myself, Benji, and Chris Mueller.
I'm assuming you carried them, right?
They're actually all pretty good. Benji's really good as well. Chris is good, so there'd be games where everyone's carrying everyone.
Awesome. Well, would you like to leave your gamer tag for people to add you, or do you want to keep that out? I'll cut this out of the show if not.
Yeah, definitely. I love playing with people and getting requests saying that they're fans or stuff like that. So my gamer tag on PlayStation is SOB with the number 4 and then Life, LIFE, SOB for life.
Thank you so much. So before I let you go, you told me that you're working on website or apparel. Would you like to explain that a bit more?
Yeah, it's very early days, but most definitely I've been involved with some foundations and things like that. So I definitely wanted to start my own. So we have that coming soon. We have foundation coming, partnered with Nike Canada. Yeah, the website will also have a fitness section, lifestyle section where the apparel would be, or there will be a very cool twist on the apparel that I cannot wait to reveal very soon. There'll also be a diet section where I can help people with meal plans, and I just want to kind of make the website similar to my lifestyle and everything I do in my daily life. It'll be on there. There'll also be a gaming/streaming section on there where I'll play Warzone with Chris and Benji, and a lot of FIFA with Dane and stuff like that. So yeah, overall very exciting stuff.
Well, I can't wait for that to happen, and make sure you send it to me so that I could promote it as well when it's ready. Thank you so much for joining me, Kamal. This was really fun. Is there any shout outs you have, anything you want to promote? Otherwise, give me your social handles, whatever.
Yeah, I'll promote my social handles on Twitter and Instagram. It's both KMills_00, so KMILLZ_00. Yeah, you can catch me on there. My day-to-day life, I'm very interactive, and I love meeting new people on there. So don't be afraid to reach out.
From Canada to Syracuse to Florida and now back to Canada, Kamal Miller, thank you so much for joining, and I can't wait to see you soon.
Thank you, Eli. I appreciate it.
That is going to wrap up episode 2 of the This Week in MLS show. Thank you so much, Danny, for joining me, and thank you, Kamal Miller, for the interview. Danny, where can everyone find you?
Pretty easy. Right there on the screen, YouTube and Twitter at DannyTRadio. That's all I got. I don't got an Instagram. I haven't checked Facebook in probably about a year or so. Twitter and YouTube at DannyTRadio.
If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do the whole shebang. We got DannyTRadio on here, for heaven's sake. I mean, this man is the GOAT of videos. Make sure you check out all of them. Anyways, I'm your LSR This Week in MLS, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Ricochet is the GOAT. Ricochet is the GOAT. Ricochet is the GOAT. Ricochet is the GOAT. Oh, so.